All right. Come on in, everybody. Come on in. Yep. Yep. He is done. That man Diddy is done. All right. And I want to talk about this situation, man, because it's very, very disturbing, very disheartening to know that man, dude would just pass out like that. Like I'm sitting here watching the video. First of all, I'm at work. I'm at work, going about my day, doing the mundane thing, counting down the hours. All right, it's Friday. We want to go home, enjoy our weekend, etc. And lo and behold, I get a notification from a friend saying, "Yo, did it done." I'm like, man, what is he talking about? Because all this back and forth, we've been at it for a few months. There was a whole bunch of speculation and allegation, but there was nothing that has actually materializing. And so I was curious. So I clicked on the link. I wanted to see what my friend was talking about. And lo and behold, I saw Diddy dragging Casey across the hotel floor out there in LA. And my thing is this, obviously this is bad. There is no excuse for Diddy doing what he did. But I'm just amazed at how, okay, first of all, we look at the pattern, right? Because there is a pattern with this guy. I'm talking about allegations of physical abuse, not just from women, but even from men. A guy back in 2003 that was the president of his record label accused him of basically putting the baseball bat to him to like give up his authority. And my thing is this, man, I understand, especially within the dynamics of a relationship, words can be expressed and things can get kind of heated. But what we got to understand, especially if when we're in this era of a couple of things, right? You got the era that is really trying to empower our women, which I don't think anything's wrong with that. I think that's pretty solid. But by the same token, you got an era now that it's really wrestling with the idea of the general roles, the general traditional roles that we kind of idealized over the years, right? And so with that, it's coming a lot of insecurities, man, and guys now are trying to wrestle with this idea of being the guy and being the leader and being in control, and it's becoming very toxic. It's getting to an extremely toxic level. You're going on these panels and everything, and I'm all for people making their content. I'm all for people giving their opinion. I mean, hey, I'm giving my unpopular opinion right now about this. But by the same token, what folks got to understand is at some point you got to be secure enough in yourself because see, money ain't the answer, man. You see, people looking at Diddy, and especially with folks out here talking about the passport movement, y'all get your passport, man. Y'all go get your money up. Go overseas, do all this other stuff, get you a fit, feminine, submissive woman. In the era of all of that, we see a man who has clearly more than enough capability to be doing just that. But no, that's not what he's doing at all. Instead, he's sitting up here messing with these girls and getting upset when they don't comply with the way things get down. And so this is why I can't really rock with the era of modern man. And it's disappointing because Diddy really from a different era. And I know for a fact that Diddy isn't the only guy that has really been in situations like this when it comes to women. He just got caught. He just got caught, if we just being real. And my thing is, when I look at the footage, I'm thinking, man, you got to be one bold. Let's just keep it 100. Let's just keep it real because these are my candid thoughts right now. You just got to be one bold Negro to sit here, pop off in what appeared to be broad daylight, coming fresh out the shower to come, quote unquote, basically drag your girl in the middle of a hotel thinking ain't nothing about to happen, ain't nothing about to pop off because I'm quote unquote Puff Daddy. I'm that guy. I sign the checks. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to be at a place in your life where you just feel like you untouchable to do some mess like that. And then according to the CNN article, you're gonna sit here and charge these people 50,000, or you offer them 50,000 for the security footage. So we understand now, Mr. Combs, why you were so quick to pay off Casey. But see, now you open the door once you did it to where all the other people that, whether it was true or not, whether there was some foul play involved or not, you open the door to be basically attacked by all them other people as well. Because hey, they want they payday too, Mr. Combs. They want their money too. Give the girls their money, man. Give them their money. Because see, what you did was foul. It was extremely foul. And I'm gonna say that as a man, because at the end of the day, there is no excuse for you sitting here, not even just putting your hands on one. Bro, that was on some Tyler Perry stuff. If we being real, that was some fresh out of a movie. I'm talking about you throwing stuff in the elevator, you know what I'm saying? Kicking her all in her chest and things, bro. Whatever she said, whatever she did, remember, you Puff Daddy, you Sean Daddy Cone. It shouldn't take all that for you to really just be coping in the aspects of relationships, man. You shouldn't have all that going on. But see, here's the thing, and this is why I want to come on because it's easy to drag Diddy. Everybody doing it right now. He's an easy target right now. But my thing is, I want to talk to some people right now who kind of in that same wave, that same tip, not necessarily thinking you'll go to this extreme because I'm sure with Diddy, this was a process. Diddy didn't just wake up one day and said, "Man, I feel like slapping a female today. I feel like putting my hands on a woman." That didn't just happen overnight. It was a gradual process, a gradual ideal of control, an ideal of wrestling that a guy like that is dealing with. And see, with us, sometimes we wrestle with those ideologies, and especially when guys don't know how to hear no, when they don't know how to move on from relationships. My thing is this: if a girl isn't interested in you, this world is so big enough to where you can really find your person if you're really looking. But on top of that, if you put yourself in a position to focus on being the best version of yourself, focus on being complete in yourself, not trying to find a relationship to quote unquote complete you with and all this other stuff, you know, understanding your boundaries, your core values as a man or as a woman, then you're gonna be good. But see, when you get up in here and you love to get in little spats, you love to, you know what I'm saying, get in arguments that result to physical violence, you got a problem, man. You got a real problem. And my thing is Diddy, you know, we can't hate on how he grew up because even though on the outside you think, okay, well, man, my man, Diddy, he had a mom that was working. He had a pops in the military. He should be good. We know his pops was a dealer, got killed in drug dealing or whatever. So, the thing about it is that ain't no telling what type of toxicity Diddy was exposed to at a young age. Whatever the case may be, it's no justification for him doing what he did, which was physically assaulting that woman, Miss Casey. And she got her money. She got her money. And so my question is right now is, who's the one that really released the video? Because back in December he was talking all bold and crazy after he gave her the money and everything, talking about, oh, these are just allegations and these people out here just lying, and I'm gonna protect my family and my legacy, talking all that jargon, knowing good and well the whole time there was an entire video that the doggone hotel had that would pretty much incriminate you, put you, throw you under the jail, so to speak. So here's where I'm at with it. When we analyze this thing, and we take little principles that we can learn from our lives. For one, we don't need to be following these superstars, man. Not on some type of learning or motivational type tip all the time. Because see, Puffy, this dude Combs is definitely an example of what not to do. You can have all the money in the world, you got private jets, or a jet at least. You know what I'm saying? You got houses, mansions. You got access to all types of women and men, if that's something you're into. You know what I'm saying? Which allegedly it is. But there's nothing that is off limits for you, for real, for real. But instead of taking enjoying the fruits of your labor, so to speak, in a righteous way, you got to do it in the most toxic way imaginable, because you feel as if, hey man, it's justified. You know what I'm saying? I gotta have this girl attention. I gotta put her in her place. I gotta let her know that she ain't gonna be quote unquote talking to me like that, because I'm the man. I'm top dog. And to be honest with you, just being completely honest with you, that ideology is so played. Now I'm not against a man, standing on business and leading by example, being able to communicate and articulate what it is he's wanting to take place in a relationship. I think those things are important on both ends. You got to learn how to communicate. But by the same token, there shouldn't be this over fixation on just one person. Because see, now you sat there, and again, it was a process, because the first girl that he probably whooped on didn't say nothing. She probably just sat there and let him do it because he got the money, he funding the lifestyle, you on yachts, jets, all this other stuff. Life coming fast at you right now. Good and well, if he was to cut you off first of the month come, you ain't gonna be able to afford that penthouse or whatever you in. So I get it from that perspective. They may have let you got away. But see, Miss Casey, man, she really internalized that, because she obviously was working on something before you met her. And on top of that, even in her newfound relationship, in her newfound love, this mental scar you gave her really propelled her to say, man, you know what? Enough is enough. See, we all thought, okay, yeah, she just got her money and decided to leave. And, yeah, funds started drying up. And so now she wanted to kind of come back to, get another. No, no, no. See, that wasn't what it was. See, what it was, she remembered, all them kicks and punches that you gave her and everything. And it probably gave her some doggone nightmares, to be real, because she probably wasn't used to all that. And now here it is with your, you know, being a person of influence, understanding that you did do wrong by her. You at least tried to, you know what I'm saying, at least compensate her pretty quickly, because you was afraid that this is going to come out. Well, guess what? There's a saying. It's actually a biblical saying, by the way. It says, whatever a man sows, not just talking about money, but it's talking about life in general. All right. Whatever a man sows, that will he also reap. It's reaping time for you, Mr. Diddy. It's reaping time for you, man. You sat there and sold such abusive behavior, such atrocious behavior, to the point to where now, our women, especially in the era where they are on high alert, they feel attacked. They writing you off, man. They writing you off, rightfully so, because this is not cool. This is not okay. And I'm not just saying this because I want to quote unquote be a voice for women or anything like that. I don't, I'm just giving my thoughts, man. This is called the unpopular opinion. This is my unpopular opinion show where I just give my candid thoughts on an issue. Now, of course, I got other shows that deal with spirituality and things of that nature that I touch on. But this right here is just, as a man who was raised in a two-parent household, who was raised by a father that served in the Air Force, just like Mr. Combs' father, who never once witnessed his father, no matter how upset he was with his mother, physically abuse her. Yeah, I got a problem with how you handling this. And people may say, well, he probably ain't like that no more. Now, look, let me tell you something. You got stuff following you from way back in the 90s, the late 90s. And you're talking about, oh, I done went to anger management and all this other stuff. Well, I don't know if you need more classes. I don't know if, because we know you've been around Bishop Jakes. And see, when I was really doing this thing, I never even, when I initially talked about it, even dealt with it from the angle of Diddy as much as I was the Jakes angle, because, that there was no real proof. But man, whatever preachers are around that man, whatever spirit filled, whoever, they need to really come together and pray for you, man. They need to have a real come to Jesus moment with, because you got a problem. You got a real problem. And I get it, verbal arguments can lead to feelings, man, very, very harsh feelings that make you want to turn up, that make you want to spaz. But if you are in a situation like that, hear me, brothers. No matter how old or young you are, please hear me, because you're sitting here trying to win a doggone argument when you need to be worried about winning your life, being able to continue to function as a regular citizen in in our world. Because see, you sit here, man, and start getting domestic violence charges and stuff like that, man, that's gonna cost you your job. That's gonna start looking very bad. If you work for the government, you can lose security clearance. These are things that are going to put you in not only a negative light when it comes to the women, but a negative light in society as a whole. And now here it is. You are in a situation where everything you've worked for, because one thing we can't say about Diddy is that he ain't a hustler. The man know how to hustle. The man was the party guy back in the day. He had New York City on lock. Period. Didn't matter. He was that go-to dude. But now all of this is overshadowed by how you are handling your female counterparts, man. All of that's overshadowed. And somebody may say, well, is there forgiveness for Diddy? Is there forgiveness for him? Now, on a personal level, maybe his friends, his loved ones, they might be able to forgive him because they are a little bit more aware of his humanity than maybe we are. But in the court of public opinion, hey man, the case is closed. The case is closed. It's almost as if it's a lock him up, throw away the key type thing. But by the same token, and again, until something else comes out, he won't necessarily go to jail behind this video because they settled. They settled. So it is what it is. But it is so disheartening because this is what happens, fellas, when you don't have your boundaries in place as a man, when you can't take no for an answer, when you can't embrace yourself enough as a guy just to say straight up, hey man, whether she want to be here, whether they are going to be here, at the end of the day, I'm gonna be okay. Cause see, this is what we all gotta understand, right? And this is what's gonna make us men from boys. Because see, the little boys, when you always want to be around the homies, you want to be around somebody. Boys are afraid to be alone at times. Boys are oftentimes the ones that want to, when they get scared or feel afraid because of being lonely or whatever. When you're young, at least, you want to sleep with your parents. You want to be comforted by your dog or whatever. But you got to learn how to go through the wilderness alone sometimes, because it's in those wilderness seasons, in those times of loneliness, that makes you. Okay, it develops your character. It develops, what you are and aren't going to do. How are you going to move as a man? That should be your first priority, first and foremost. But see, nah, see, that's not what we worried about right now, because we too busy trying to grab some doggone coochie and trying to see whoever we can hop on to actually be real men out here standing on business. See, standing on business ain't got nothing to do with just trying to quote unquote fight all the doggone time. Folks say, "Hey, I'm ready to stand on business." And here it is. You talking about standing on business. All you talking about is getting into a physical altercation with somebody. But standing on business means just that in every area, every facet of your life. As a guy, you are standing on business. You are about your stuff. You're getting your work done. You're setting the tone. You're leading by example. You are being the ideal person that you want around you at all times. When we don't take the time to develop ourselves, we get in situations like this, having all the money in the world, having a quote unquote successful business, being surrounded by beautiful people, being able to have access to all the things we want. But in all actuality, we don't have the maturity enough to handle it. So when we don't have that maturity, when we haven't developed and worked on ourselves enough to actually, make good on what we've been given, they call it in the Christian world being a good steward, being a good steward of what you've been given, you make shipwreck of it. And that's exactly what Puffy did. That's exactly what P. Diddy did. He literally shipwrecked his whole legacy. He ran that thing clean into the ground, all because he felt like he was untouchable. Because I'm thinking, bro, you can't be concerned about your legacy if you sitting here hopping out of what appeared to be the shower. Here it is, you in the hotel hall with nothing but a doggone towel around your waist, like you hopped out the shower, chasing behind a girl who clearly wants to get away from you because she's feeling threatened, or she just doesn't want to be around you all the time. Remember, you're the guy with the jet. You're the guy that has all these material things that are quote unquote supposed to be motivating us to get out there and go get it, right? You're that guy. But none of that mattered because you got upset and you couldn't take the fact that she was gonna walk out the door. Let me tell you something. You got to get good as a man, and really as a woman too, but you got to get good at letting go, letting people leave. When people can walk away from you, just let them walk. Let them walk, because one thing about it is people that are meant for you are going to be in your life long term. They ain't going nowhere. They actually going to be there for you. And see, one thing I don't respect about a lot of our men today is that a lot of us are really snakes in the grass, man. We snakes in the grass. We'll be quick to stab each other in the back off the strength of a female. Okay, and ain't no disrespect to my ladies, but what we gotta understand, it says a lot about a man's character when you're willing to sit here and handle your homeboy any kind of way off the strength of you getting some coochie, or getting some attention. You sitting here throwing your homeboy under the bus because you're trying to get with his girl. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't not only experience that in my own life, but I've seen that and witnessed that in the lives of so many people that are connected around me. My brothers, it's just the reality of it. Y'all will sit here and get so upset because you're getting dogged out and getting exposed by some of these women, and you want people to feel sorry for you. You want us to champion you. You want us to quote unquote support the cause. Meanwhile, the whole time you were snaking the grass. If the shoe was on the other foot, you wouldn't do it to save your life. You wouldn't look out for your people. And it shows. It shows, man. It shows. And so now as a result, this is what happens. This is what happens. Ain't gonna be no, oh man, y'all come to my rescue, man. Nah, bro. Diddy, we're gonna let you sit there, dog. We're gonna let you sit there. Because see, a few years ago, I remember as a kid when Chris Brown was accused of hopping of beating Rihanna, and the photos came out, and how terrible that was. I mean, people were just like mortified by it, right? And it almost destroyed him. But Chris, really, really, man, it was the grace of God, in my opinion, because he still got a career, he's still thriving, he's still good. But see, Diddy, man, it's different because of the way things kind of went, and to see the footage, okay, and to know this ain't no doggone skit. That's the thing. This ain't no skit. He was really hitting her, man. He was really beating her. Like, I'm talking about beating her like she a dog, or she in some type of camp. Like, it was so bad. And the world saw it. I'm talking about, man, we sitting up there at the job, and we just kind of looking at it with our mouths out like, is this dude serious right now? Is he doing that? And ladies, let me tell you something. If you really mean what you say, if you really want a man that's gonna treat you good, if you really about that talk that you talking about, please leave these Negroes alone. These hitting behind Negroes, these Negroes that's gonna be quick to put their doggone hand. That's not healthy. I don't care if you saw your pops do it to your moms or whatever. Leave that Negro alone before it's too late. Because, like I said, it goes for you too. People out here trying to play the game, they trying to do this other stuff instead of worried about the thing that they need to be worried about, which is their life. Because, see, at the end of the day, nobody can die for you. All right? Nobody can go to the grave for you. Now, I ascribe to Christianity, Christian theology. So I believe really the only person that's done that in the history of humanity is Christ. But by the same token, no other human can do the bid for me as a man. So now I got to give an account to how I live my life, how I conduct my business. Doesn't mean I always get it right. Doesn't mean I don't make mistakes. But what it does mean is that I have healthy boundaries to guide my life by, that keep me from getting in situations like this. Because see, it's one thing if it was a false allegation. All right. It's one thing if somebody just trying to throw dirt on your name. But my man, when we got video evidence, and it's not like it was manipulated, bro. Nobody manipulated you running out that doggone shower with a towel around your waist to go grab old girl. Nobody can manipulate a situation like that. That was clearly you, tats and all. It was clearly you making that decision. And now this is where we're at. This is what the world's going to be talking about. I guarantee you for the next 72 hours, this is probably going to be the most talked about story in America and even various parts of the world, because it's so atrocious, and it's so anti against what the media is promoting right now. So this man, you set us back with this one, man. You set us back with this one, bro. I'm gonna just be honest with you. Because even though some guys may say, well, man, I know some dudes that would like that, and folks gotta chill out. That happen every day. It's not okay. It's not okay. People getting killed in the inner cities. Just because that's a thing in Chicago, that's not okay. We're not gonna make allowances or tolerance for that type of behavior. Period. Don't allow that to be the narrative in your life. Get some sense about yourself as a dude. Like, seriously. Get some boundaries about yourself. Don't matter of fact, some of y'all listening to me, I got a good bit of people listening right now. Some of you listening to me right now don't need to be dating no doggone more. I'm talking about cut the phone off, get off the dating app, get off, because you got some internal problems. You got some stuff you need to work on. Somebody say, well, what about the women? What about what they need? I'm talking to you right now, bro. I'm talking to you. See, that's the problem. You worried about everybody else but your doggone self. And you're making shipwreck of your life because you're not willing to take the time to invest. Instead of going to the gym, working on your communication, and bettering yourself even in the area of your finances and things, you sitting here worried about all the wrong things. You're chasing tail. You're out there in the clubs, in the bars, partying with your rent money. You're out there laying up on the couch in the bed instead of taking care of your body. Eating McDonald's and all that other crap instead of getting on an actual meal plan. Get a hold of your life before it's too late. Before it's too late. Because it's easy to sit here and laugh at P. Diddy and everything he got going on. But if we're going to be honest about it, if we're going to be real about it, there are plenty of people, especially in the black community, unfortunately, plenty of men that we know that will pretty much put their hands on a woman when it comes down to it because they feel like it's player, it's pimping. They think they showing their hand as a man. But I'm gonna tell you right now, in the era of domestic violence, you can go, man, bro. I'm talking about all a woman got to do is call, bro. She called the police pulling up. If she called, man, and she said anything remotely to the fact that, or the idea that you may have hit her, man, bro, that's it, bro. That is it. You can sit here and argue and try to get all big and whoop the whoop with them all day. But bro, at some point, hey man, you might as well just go and get ready to go to jail. Just go and get ready. Because that's exactly where you head. Some of y'all sitting here can't even afford your doggone lifestyle, but got all the mouth in the world when it comes to dealing with police officers and all these other things, instead of really having the energy that you need to push yourself forward. Take this as a rebuke, but as a rebuke in love, man. Take it as something that can motivate you to actually get on your stuff. Because you sitting here mocking Diddy, knowing good and well you may not be far from him. If we just being real, somebody said, I never put my hand on a woman. Remember what I said at the top of the broadcast. That was a gradual process with that dude, man. See, it started at first, I guarantee you, was threatening. And then when some women weren't going for that, when that mouth was still coming, when it was on some try me, type stuff, he started doing it. And some girls are just gonna let them do, because you gotta think about it too. A lot of this stuff, when you got money, you feel like, hey, you can make some things go away. And see, especially with Diddy, he probably was spending a little time with our white brothers and sisters and people in these different races and thinking, okay, they getting away with it, and this is what they doing, so I guess I can do that too. Not understanding, my guy, you're not, no, you are a person of color, a person who identifies with a class of people that at one time, not severely now, but at one time in this country, was oppressed. So you need to be mindful of how you move. Like old boy said, finesse, which I don't follow his music concretely, but like he said, hey, it's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it. It's a problem. It's a problem when you get out of character. So just be mindful of stuff like that, man. Be mindful as a guy, any guy really of any nationality. But I want to talk to my brothers here, concretely hardcore. Like, please be mindful of how you are conducting yourselves in these relationships. If it's getting to that point, if she irritates you that much, I know you may say, man, the coochie good though, and I just wish she would, do this and do that. I know I ain't asking for much. Look, let me tell you, that person is who they are. Before you came into the picture, they develop their own thoughts, patterns, ways, and ideologies. You cannot convince that person to be anything other than what they are, no matter how good at manipulation you might think you are. You can't manipulate nobody to be something that they don't want to be. In other words, I can't make you want to change. You should have to change for you. You got to want to change for yourself in order for anything to happen. Just like right now, all the people that's listening to me, y'all are going to have to make that effort to change and improve your lives in the areas that you want to do it in if you really want to see progress. Because I'm not gonna hold your hand, and that's the problem. People want somebody to hold their hand. watching these YouTube videos and everything, wanting somebody to hold your hand, trying to sit here and cope you. You know, you having a whole counseling session, a whole therapy session, right there on your couch watching a YouTube video. Yeah, man, you shouldn't let them women talk to you like that. As a man, you should do this and you should do that. And man, get your passport, bro. Get your passport. Get over there to Taiwan and all that. You know, get over there, man. Nah, bro. Because see, one thing about it is, as a guy, and really women too, because they're showing us that they're working and excelling in certain aspects of business and careers and things like that. But as a guy, you got to be in a position where until you die, until the very last breath in your lungs, you're willing to put in work. You're willing to be in a situation where I am going to be the best version of myself. I'm going to attract the best women I can attract. You know, I'm going to basically operate in that aura. And I know people say, well, that's a because I heard one guy say it like this. That's an ever continuing process. I just need something quick. And that's the problem. You trying to get a quick fix to a problem that requires a long term solution. You trying to get a quick fix. What, you a drug addict? Is that what it is? You too addicted to that adrenaline to actually get some business about this? Is that really what's going on here? Because if so, that's what we need to tackle. That's what we need to correct. A lot of people talk about Kobe Bryant, and I was watching a broadcast that actually mentioned him as being somebody that's gifted, and I believe that. I believe Kobe was gifted in the area of basketball, not just basketball, because when you hear him talk, he's extremely articulate. But he was gifted. However, when we look at Kobe's upbringing, he'll be the first to tell you that it wasn't just pure talent that got him over. It was his work ethic. And here it is. It was his commitment to have a long-term solution to a problem that required just that, a long-term solution. Kobe sucked when he was a young man. He sucked at the game of basketball. When it came to his peers, he could not score by his own admission. Look it up. This is public knowledge on YouTube. He said, you know, he was terrible. And he appreciated his father giving him the okay to fail, but he was still terrible at the game of basketball. But instead of him sitting here complaining and whining and things like that, instead he decided to say, you know what, I'm going to work on my game. I'm going to work on my game. I'm going to, and not only that, Kobe said something that was so cool and so profound. He said, I realize I'm not going to be able to catch these guys right now. But if I continue to remain consistent with putting in the work over the years, I'm going to catch these guys and I'm going to be better than them. And in fact, he was just that. He was better than them. He grew into his body and you know began to really develop and sharpen his game, but it took him working on those fundamentals, working on the basics of the game of basketball. See, we don't want to even work on the fundamentals. We don't want to get our bodies right. We don't want to begin to, you know what I'm saying, get that business off the ground. We don't want to do the fundamental things that are going to push us forward. But yet we want to sit here and complain and whine about why things the way they are. Well, look what happens on the opposite spectrum. Look at what whining gets you. Whining and crying will put you in a situation just like P Diddy, where you're sitting here with all this money because you did that. You was hustling, you did that. But because you didn't work on the other areas in your life, now we're in a situation where there are there are missing components here. You're not full, and you're in a situation where you could potentially wreck your entire life. You got holes in your ship, you see. And so that's what you want to avoid as a man. Because at the end of the day, it's your life. No one can live your life for you. Okay? No one can do that. I mean, can you imagine if you're P. Diddy now, you got all this music, you got all this other stuff, and now everything you do from this point out will be overshadowed by the physical assault you did to Miss Casey on in that hotel. That's a lot, man. That's a lot. Especially for a guy that's been working all them years too. You're talking about working from the 90s. You done lost homeboys. You've produced some of the biggest artists the world has ever seen when it comes to rap. But you've lost people along the way. Blood has been shed. All types of sacrifices have probably been made. And now all of that stuff is just went up in smoke off the strength of you not being able to conduct yourself in a manner that was suitable of your stature. It's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. But I really hope that those of you that are listening to this, man, would really, instead of just being a person that's clearly mocking, you know what I'm saying, begin to actually assess this situation and say, you know what, like, yo, because this is one thing I like about the Bible, right? I like how there's a story in the Bible that talks about um, Paul was talking to preachers, I believe it was, and he said, listen, if a preacher falls, he said it over there, I believe in Corinthians. He said, if someone falls, you who are spiritual, restore such a one in meekness, considering yourself that you can, in fact, you know, succumb to the same fate. And so this is the thing, man. You know, Peter walked with Christ, cut a man's ear off for Christ, stepped out there on the water for a second, didn't last, but he stepped out there on the water with Christ. And out of his mouth told him, I won't deny you, I'll die with you. We're going to the cross together, you know. Bad boys for life type vibe. That's the type of time Peter was communicating. But Christ knew him and knew his heart. And so he said, you know what? Before the rooster crows 3 times, you're going to deny me. And even though he couldn't accept it, it became a reality as the opportunity was presented. You may not think you're capable of doing something on the same time, but when the opportunity presents itself, because of that gradual process that's been taking place, your heart gonna be exposed. And I hope that when that time comes, you've done the proper work as well as have the proper temperament to understand that that's simply a trap you don't want to fall in. Listen, man, I'm about to go. I encourage those of you that are listening for the first time to connect with me on various platforms, wherever you're watching from, Facebook, YouTube, um, uh, Twitter, which is now X. Connect with me, man. Go to the Facebook page. Go ahead and follow me. The Facebook page is right there below. I got a bunch of content that I believe will be a blessing to you, inspirational content as well as content pertaining to spirituality. But yeah, man, keep Diddy. You know, let's send some positive vibes his way. I know he going through some things, and what he did, there is no excuse for. Some people say, man, there's a special place in hell for Negroes like that. I wouldn't argue, but by the same token, let's also be the change that we want to see, man. Let's continue to promote positivity in every way, shape, form, or facet we can. Go ahead and connect with me over there. And listen, if you enjoyed this moment of inspiration, I also encourage you to connect with me on that Patreon page. That Patreon page is going to give you exclusive access to the content that I have made exclusively for my partners, and it's content really for you, for you to encourage you to push you to your next place in life, that place that you believe you've been called or purposed to go to. And I want to partner with you in doing that. And that's a way of saying thank you. You'll have access to that exclusive content, as well as several exclusive broadcasts that I'll do over there in the Patreon just for you. But yeah, connect with me nonetheless, man. Listen, I appreciate everybody that took the time to listen to my candid thoughts, my unpopular opinion concerning this topic. Man, I really had to hold it in. I said to myself, I didn't really want to dive in too much until I got on the live to actually do the broadcast. But I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure to connect with me. And if you're just tuning in right now, play the broadcast back from the beginning. And I look forward to connecting with you on these other platforms as well as the one that you are watching me on. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like and share with somebody else. And I'll talk to you soon. God bless.